Welcome to the Power Chat Room with me, your host, Lady Ajo, on the GH Gospel Radio. On today's episode, we are still talking about women, the amazing women, changing lives in their own way. And like I told you, this month is celebrating women, as we did on International Women's Day. And today I have an amazing lady. I'm sure you've seen her all around, because her work is just one that you cannot ignore. She's in the person of Nana Lexis. Nana Lexis Opoku Ajema and I do account. Yes. Well, I've known you for how many years now?
A little about 9 years.
I think since 2016, right? Or even before?
Before 2016, but we had not spoken. And then after 2016, we got a chance to speak. And
we've been working together for a long time,
yes.
From the word get-go. So, welcome to the Power Chat Room.
Thank you, Ajo.
Yeah, this is where we provoke minds and awaken the depths of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. So we are coming to,
provoke some thoughts.
Some thoughts through your insight and wisdom. So before we start, I want people to know who is Nana Lexis and what does she do?
Nana Lexis is a brand consultant. That is a very key thing. I'm a communicator. I call myself the conversationalist because I talk for a living. And also I'm a life coach. Basically, these are the main components of who Nana Lexis is. And I'm a creative thinker and a creative worker as well. So everything creativity.
I like that. The way you said I'm a creative, because now it gives me a perspective of, who I am, in the sense that, everything I do obviously looks like a mess until you come to the matter and say,
yes.
This is what we do. You're a life coach, and people sometimes don't understand who a life coach is and why the need for a life coach.
When people ask questions of this nature, first thing I say is the job being a life coach didn't just meet me along the journey. I had to experience life to be able to speak and then think that there was a need for me to even go into training and then become a life coach. When I speak of that, what am I saying? Life experiences from childbirth, the vision I had, the things I wanted to do, the battles I had to fight to get to the destination of realizing that no, it looks like you're losing yourself. And in the process of losing yourself, if care is not taken, you may be looking into different directions that you are not supposed to look into. So why don't you seek counseling? Why don't you seek help from people who can actually help direct that vision that you have? Unfortunately or fortunately for me, I came from a background where we have the old way of thinking, the old school thinking, not understanding what a child has within them and how they can actually nurture these things to be able to help other people in society. And so I had the chance to speak with other people, counselors, coaches, and then it helped narrow my vision and bring it to a point where I knew that this is actually why I face these issues. This is actually why I'm supposed to be in this field that I am. And so being a life coach, I would say simply put your mind on the fact that humans need support. As human as we are, we face challenges along the way, and when we do face those challenges, we need other people to encourage us, other people to be our accountability partners. And in doing so, you need sometimes a professional to be able to guide your thoughts. That is because if you're not able to get a professional, you will mess everything up. You may think of the intangible things as the tangible things, and the tangible things as the intangible things. Wow. However, it's a very good thing for every individual to at least have an accountability partner who is in life.
So I like how you made mention of the fact that life coaching didn't meet you on the way, but it is as a result of your life experiences and seeking more of self. You found the essence of who you were, which is the purpose you were created for. And because it is a purpose, pursuing it feels fulfilling for you. Now, I mean, for me as a life coach and as a personal development coach, so People don't know that all these things are all one and the same. It's just how we name them. So if you are a personal development coach, you are a life coach because you are helping people develop various aspects of their life. But my niche is where so because of the niche that I have, I narrow it down and say I'm a mindset transformation and personal development coach, because I don't take on all the other areas of counseling, but I take on the mind transformation. And for me, being a development communicator, it means that I help people adapt to new innovations and new things. So if there's a new concept, a new thing, and you have to do, I am all about transitioning from one phase of life, making sense of all your experiences and moving it to the next one. Okay. And so in the field that we are in, what are some of the misconceptions? Because Ghanaians have the notion that for you to engage a counselor, it means you should be psychologically imbalanced, for the lack of better words.
Yes.
Psychologically imbalanced. But health itself is described as mental, physical, emotional balance. And so you cannot even say you're healthy if you're physically fit and mentally you are struggling. And so what are some of the misconceptions and how can we address these issues?
A very big misconception when you see a life coach or you're seeing a counselor, however we have termed it, the misconception that the person is taking over your life is one thing that I think has destroyed a lot of mindsets. In the sense that when you're meeting a life coach or you're meeting a counselor, the person is only being a partner to you on the journey you want to achieve. They are not going to impose on you. They are not imposing their thoughts. So the misconception that when you're meeting a counselor or a coach, the person is going to take over your life and then begin to put their own personal thoughts and ideologies into your mind to get you working. It's absolutely wrong, and that is something that I wish other coaches would actually hammer on, because the mindset of the African or the Ghanaian is pinned to the fact that someone is taking charge of your life. No, I am not taking charge of your life. I'm working together with you in partnership. So it is your information you're given that is directing the thought of how professionally you're supposed to address certain situations, how you're supposed to manage certain situations, and how you're supposed to eliminate some of the mindset to be able to arrive at the destination you want to arrive at. And so that particular misconception, I think, is something that if you're watching today, I want you to put in your mind. When you're seeing a coach, a counselor or server, they are not taking over your life. They are only helping reaffirm the things that are in your mind and help you eliminate some of the negativities that are obstructions to you becoming successful in the areas of success that you personally require yourself to get to. Because I do not know your success. I do not know the things that you want to achieve as a person until you have opened up and told me. So if you think in your mind that before you are coming to see me, I'm coming to tell you about my personal success, it doesn't work. I may use some of my life experiences as a guide for you to see that I equally may have faced certain challenges. However, I am not imposing on you. It is up to you as an individual to see the story we share and then see how you can deduce profit from it to be able to aid the things that you want to achieve.
A lot said there. You know, one of the misconceptions that I also have is that, like, I've faced in this line, is that Africans, or should I say Ghanaians, don't think they need counseling.
Yes.
Because they feel like it's my life. Why should I come and be sitting down and telling you about it? But you see, a counselor, a coach, a psychologist, or whoever you're seeing is not interested in your life. They are interested in the balance of your life, in the sense that your life experiences can be, or not can be, because the concept you have of yourself is as a result of the belief system that you have, and that is what you use in your judgment, how you feel, how you think, how you react, and how you respond to things. And these are the components that makes a balanced life or an imbalanced life. And so from the perception at which you view life, you might be living it from a wrong angle. And so we may write 9 here and you're standing at a different angle. It will look like 6 to you. And so what the psychologist, counselor, or life coach helps you do is to position your view properly so that you can see the truth, the reality of what is in front of you, and not the illusion of, oh, this is it because of I feel like this, I feel like this. Because perceptions are not facts.
Yeah.
And we could all be wrong. And whatever you think in your mind is not necessarily true until it is proven as a fact. It's not necessarily true, because sometimes we create things in our minds based on our experience. There's an account saying that so if you have experienced certain things before, once other things look familiar, you respond in that way. So sometimes you can be on a defense mood the whole time of your entire life, when you should actually be at a responsive or receptive way and letting life, really.
Yes, I think I have an experience on that. I was speaking with a colleague in school about a certain situation of how life treated them when they were young, and she goes on to speak of the fact that based on her experiences from her parents, it has ended up destroying her life. And I was a bit concerned, so I probed further to know why it has destroyed her life. Then she speaks of the fact that there was neglection. She was neglected at a certain age that she felt she needed the love. And so because of that neglection, she ended up in a space where even now that she feels super comfortable, she's clocking all the successes that presumably everybody thinks that once you have these successes, you are comfortable. She's now beginning to vent all the anger and the pain of neglection on the people, on the wrong people. Until she came to the realization of knowing that no, this is not who I want to be. Why am I always angered? Why am I even angered at the other gender? Is it because my father didn't treat me right? And so she realized that no, if she's not careful, this is an African setting where you are supposed to get married, have a child, and then it tells that you are completely fulfilled. So if she's not careful and then she does not eliminate that level of pain and anger from her system, she's not actually going to end up getting married, because she would judge everybody with that same concept of how my father treated me. Yeah. And so in parenting here in Africa, I'm pleading, just the parents, if you have intentions of having a child, remember, it is not just about their physical well-being. Their mindset is your responsibility. How they will survive, how they respond to certain situations,
what they turn out to be,
is your responsibility. It is not just a matter of putting them through school. It's not just a matter of putting them through every single action. The words that you affirm over the kids, the words that you use, whether positive or negative, has an impact. And regardless, it is either going to make them or unmake them.
I think during the Valentine season, I had one episode here where I talked about parenting and love, and I did make mention that we have traumatized parents who have traumatized their children because of their experience. And I also made mention that children should forgive their parents for not knowing how to love them, because their own experience shaped how they raised them.
Exactly.
And so what they got as love, and don't forget that in the African setting, especially in the past, parents were not even harmed. There was no affection in the family. Love from a parent was purely discipline.
Yes.
And some of this discipline traumatized some of these parents. And so that's the only thing they know. That's the only language they know. For example, it's like you taking a typical Ghana person to, let's say, an Ewe land. The only thing they understand is Ghana. And so they'll be as confused as, as a blind man trying to find his way out of a door. And so it is not because he doesn't know how to speak or he doesn't have control or find. It is because he's found himself in a space where he does not understand what is happening around him. Same way, our parents there was no culture of talking to people, addressing issues. Even some of these parents have not grieved their processes.
Yes.
And so they are moving on in life wounded, and they are trying to also nurture somebody. They would inflict their wounds because everything they do is from that place of pain. And so counseling is vital. Do you know how I got into this counseling space? It is from a space of grief. So in my early ages, I was a bit wild in the sense that I'm very opinionated, very confident, and it's still I'm still the same person, just with the proper understanding of my strengths and my weaknesses. And I was just like, I like to go out, I like to party, and you would assume I am an extrovert, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
really?
I would.
But I'm not an extrovert at all. There's no extrovert, nothing. I'm not an extrovert.
Wow.
You see, sometimes if you judge people by their arrival,
Yes.
you'll be surprised because some will come with their packaging and others will shock you with their content.
Exactly.
And they said that for me, that was my grieving style because my dad passed very early, and I was like this with my dad. You don't even feed me till my father gets home. That's how bad it was. Okay, I slept in the baby's cot till my father died because I have to close my father's room so I can check on his daughter. It's that bad.
Wow.
That bad. And so for me, I'm a photocopy of my dad, but
Yes, I've seen that picture.
yes. And so for me, it was a big blow. And don't forget that when we were driving to the hospital, my father was on my lap. So the experience for me was very personal. And for a child in an African setting, nobody pays attention to how you're grieving, whether you understand it. They don't even take it to counseling to make sense of the change that is happening all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The whole focus is on the mother. Now, in my confused state as a child, all I saw was things happening, people crying, people changing, the way they treat me, people change because my uncle started behaving very
nice.
No, which nice.
Rude.
The short pepper.
Oh,
They
Africa.
came with the pepper. And for me that was like, I saw my father do this to you, for you. Why are you doing this to us? And so there was a lot of confusion. So in my anger, I needed a sense of belonging because the bond I had, the one I belonged to, my constant is not there. My siblings are in the boarding school. My mother has vowed that she's going to make sure that her children do well. So that means extra time outside working hard. And so it means that less time of attention for the children. And that meant that for me, I had to feel like I belonged to some kind of something to make a sense of what is happening, the void. But I didn't really understand myself till I went to university. And I started studying psychology. So
you understood.
then I
all
understood
the things
that were happening to me was as a result of my pain. Now, then when I started to make sense of the whole thing that I was studying in school, then I could be around people, then I just want to go home. I want to disappear because there's no point in it again. And so even though there were people around me, I still felt empty, and that's why I started pursuing more of myself because I wanted to know there's more to me than this, this emptiness I feel, because after a while, the crowd doesn't cut it. Okay? So people think I'm an extrovert, but I speak a lot when I get around people because I want people to feel okay. I want people to feel good about themselves because I spent a lot of time on my own, not talking to nobody. And I know how that felt for me. Like I don't have anybody, like I don't feel. So when people come around me, I will engage you in conversations. When I leave, you will miss my presence. And then when you miss my presence, it means that you have somebody around you. Do you understand me? But in terms of my personality, I am not an extrovert.
That is a very shock revealing thing.
Oh, if I show you my personality, I mean...
Away from the cameras and everything.
Oh, you will be surprised. Because I don't like people. That's what you probably think.
Oh. So we are not in it alone. A lot of people think we like to talk or we are out there having fun and all. unfortunately, it's not like that because we've learned how to spend time being alone, and so when we find ourselves within people, we want to share hope, we want to share assurance,
Yes.
we want to give affirmation to the things that they are also losing, because we know what it is like to have found yourself in a certain state.
Yes, exactly.
Because especially with your experience of childhood, I equally had a childhood where I felt the sense of belonging to a group where I can see my mother, my father all together, being happy all the time. Even if it's not all the time, at least you can share some moments that you can recall and say, oh, it was a very beautiful moment. I remember when we visited this uncle and mommy did this or daddy did that. I remember when we had a special meal on the dining table and daddy said this on the table. All those things were lost. And as a child, I was confused. There were times that you were expected to see your father because he had told you he was going to come to Ghana in June. And everybody was excited. I would go to school, tell people that I'm expecting my dad in June. Dad doesn't show up. There's no reason for showing up. For not showing up. And then in December, he tells you, I will come again. So it becomes a party. To the point where friends...
You're being lied to constantly.
Exactly. Friends even ended up saying that you are telling lies. Because they felt you were trying to fit into a space where you don't even belong.
Yeah.
However, dealing with these things, even the mother didn't notice that the child was suffering or battling these
Mothers don't pay attention.
because she has to do extra just like your mother, she has to do extra to make sure that the family is running. There are kids to take care of. That fathers are not around, so let me push extra. It means extra time out there, and when she's back home, it's more like a rest period, nothing more. You can't even share the pain that you've gone through. You can't share the experiences that you've gone through.
What's pain?
Do you know what pain is?
No, at your age, what is pain? At your age, can you feel anything? They say that.
African parents.
I've shared this on here that listen. That when I'm showing affection to my mother, I say, oh,
Then I'll have my dream.
yes, what do you want? Because in her mind, affection simply means you're pampering me to get something.
Yeah.
Because that's what we've been taught as African children to just, if you want something, play nice and beg and beg. But me, naturally, I'm a very loving person.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about everything I do. So if I care about you, I'm very passionate about you. And so, because of that setting, I'm not sure she even knows how much I miss her when I move around, when I leave her. My mother is like really special to me, but she doesn't know because, when you come to show her affection, she'll come.
Don't come and disturb me.
I'm tired, I don't feel like that. And so that's how a conversation usually goes. Okay. And so that's about it. But I've really enjoyed the conversation so far because these are some of the things that we need to address that people can actually relate and understand the purpose of what we do. So if I were to ask you that who or which people need counseling?
Everybody. Once you exist as a human being. Okay, so let me share this experience. About 2 weeks ago, I broke down and I asked myself so many questions. And I think a week after, I was sharing this experience that I had with a friend where I felt lost. I felt like nobody really cares. Everybody is just draining you of your energy and whatnot. And she was surprised I was telling her these things.
Because she thinks you have it all together.
You have it all together. But unfortunately, as much as I have it all together, I'm a human being.
I think our job is very lonely.
Exactly. It's a very lonely one.
It's a very lonely one.
Because even when you're facing a challenge and you speak about it, someone goes like, but you have all the answers. Why are you struggling?
So it's as if you're not human. But listen, look at counselors as wounded healers. Because until you have experienced the wound, you wouldn't know how to heal it.
Yeah.
And so it's not as if we don't break or we don't do this, but it's the mindset that we have that makes us resilient. Because you fall, you tell yourself, I've got to get up, I have to go, I got to do this.
And in this situation that I was broken, all I could tell myself was, there are over, if I'm not mistaken, over 80,000 eyeballs. When I look at all the social media platforms that I'm on, who are either taking inspiration from me, are waiting for the next content I'm putting up, or waiting to either book for a session with me. So if I am breaking at this point, what would they do? What then becomes of them? Because they know they have hope and then believe that when they come to Ghana, they can benefit something good. When they do this with man, and they come, and then I am here breaking down, and then I cannot afford to say it's not working.
I keep doing this because, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's just talking about it. She's just talking about it. Listen, it's not easy. I remember there was this time I was going through a phase. Nobody outside saw the face because the face was put together. And that's why I normally talk about something I call the perfect picture. How people present themselves is a perfect picture of how they want people to see them. But the truth lies behind. And so at that time, I was going through it. If I say I
like
it,
it's the emphasis is on the it.
Means
so we also go through it.
Yes, it was bad. I was going through it, and I was depressed. To be very honest, I was depressed for a while. And then one day, a client of mine called me. Somebody who has experienced my work before, and then she just said this to me. She calls me Auntie Ajo. She said, Auntie Ajo, no matter what you do, please don't break. And then I was just watching her, and she said, because some of us, you are our strength. And so when you break, what will become of us? So even if you want to give up, please, if not for anything,
look at me.
Because when you do, I will fall. Because she said, every time I'm going through it, I look at you and I look at the things you've been through and you are still standing, then I know that I don't have an excuse. So please keep standing. And then she told me that if you see the state I was in, oh, it was terrible. So when she said that, I woke up.
I
went to stand in the mirror. And I was crying in the mirror, and I was telling myself as I was crying with tears flowing down my eyes that I will make it. This will not be the end of me. I will rise above this. I will make it. And that is the self-validation that we are talking about. You don't validate yourself because you have it together. You validate yourself because you believe in yourself.
Sure.
And the worth that you have.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Self-validation is one of the key things that actually aids the success that you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you don't validate you, who do you expect to validate you? And then for you to validate yourself, you should have heard from other people around you the thoughts they have of you, the impressions they have of you, to be able to validate yourself and say, yes, I am good enough. Yes, I can achieve this. Yes, if A can see this in me, it means that there's something actually there.
Yes.
Even though I don't see it, other people are seeing it. So I have to press on. I have to keep moving for me to arrive at that destination of success.
Wonderful. So before we go, what are some of the few words that you can say to inspire the young women out there?
What I can say is, hey, for everything you're doing, don't lose hope. Regardless of the challenges that they come with, embrace your challenges. If you can't embrace your challenges, there's no way you can deduce success out of the challenge. And then always look out for the opportunities presented in the challenges that you have. Because to every challenge, there's an opportunity.
It's true.
And where you have purpose, abuse is inevitable. So you may abuse some of the challenges that can come your way, but remember that it's important. Check it. Always have a checklist. Tick. Check the things that are not working. Check the things that are working. Look at how you can make some of the things that are not working actually return back to working for you. And that way you're able to arrive at the success line that you are looking for. I will tell you, there's nothing worthy of achieving that is not, you don't put in so much work. Everything that is worthy of achieving, you need extra work. And so if you want that life, no one has it all together. No. Absolutely no one. Even the president of the country does not have it all together. The richest person does not have it all together. We all struggle through situations and problems. And so when you are going through it, it is just fine to go through it. However, look for an accountability partner that will help you go through it. We are here to help. And so find them. Find coaches, find trainers, find counselors who can actually help you go through the challenges that you face.
Wow. Well, let me add my 2 cents to the amazing words that she has said, and I hope that you're noting this down. In every sense, there's nonsense. And in every nonsense, there is sense. And so no matter how your mess looks like, there's a message in there for you. Take what you have and make the best out of it. Success should not be defined by what people see it as, but it should be defined by what you feel it is within you. Because success is not the things that we acquire, but it's a state of being. And so we here as counselors, therapists, psychologists, and coaches, our job is just to help you navigate. We do not take charge of your life, but we help guide you. I don't work for you, I work with you. Same way, you need to know that you have a responsibility to yourself to seek the best for yourself. And so until you do that, don't demand anybody else's help until you've helped yourselves. So, thank you for joining me on tonight's episode. Don't forget that this is the Power Chat Room on GH Gospel Radio, and I am your host, Lady Ajo. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles, GH Gospel Radio. And hey, don't forget to follow me, that Lady Ajo, on all social media platforms. And hey, don't forget to follow the Conversationalist also on all her social media handles. Nana, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've had a great time. The conversations were wonderful.
Same here. Same here. She'll do this another time.